Good morning, students. Today we'll be doing the lesson National Prejudices. It is an essay written by Oliver Goldsmith. This is the 11th lesson of your textbook. In this essay, Oliver Goldsmith is discussing about prejudices that we have about people of other nations. What are prejudices? What is a prejudice? It is an unreasonable dislike or preference. We dislike something or somebody, or we prefer or do not prefer something or somebody unreasonably without any proper reason, or according to the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary. What is the definition of prejudice? An unfair and unreasonable opinion or feeling, especially when formed without enough thought or knowledge. We don't have enough knowledge about people, but still we make unreasonable opinions about them. So here in this essay, the writer Oliver Goldsmith is telling about what kind of prejudices people have about people of other nations. So let's read this essay and understand it. As I am one of that sauntering tribe of mortals who spend the greatest part of their time in taverns, coffee houses and other places of public resort, I have thereby an opportunity of observing an infinite variety of characters. This is a very long sentence. It goes on to the next page. I'll explain to you this much part of the sentence. I'll explain to you. As I am one of that sauntering tribe of mortals, I refers to the writer Oliver Goldsmith. He's saying, I am one of that sauntering tribe of mortals. Sauntering means wandering. Sauntering का मतलब है wandering. The writer says, I like to wander about. Mortal का मतलब है human being. Mortal is a person, is a human being or something that will ultimately meet its death. That is, a person who doesn't live forever. Immortal is the opposite of mortal. An immortal person is a person who lives forever. But we human beings are mortals. So the writer says, I am one of those human beings who like to wander about. I am among those people, tribe of people who like to wander. As I am one of that sauntering tribe of mortals who spend the greatest part of their time in taverns. So, such wandering people like me like to spend their time in taverns, coffee houses and other places of public resort. Taverns, matlab a pub or a place where alcohol is sold and drunk. So, such places like taverns, I like to go and spend my time. I like to go to coffee houses and other places of public resort. Other places public resort matlab a place where many people go for rest, sport or any another stated purpose. So some special purpose ke liye people go to different places. So I like to spend my time in taverns, coffee houses and other places of public resort. And in these places I have thereby an opportunity of observing an infinite variety of characters. Characters refers to people. So different, all varieties of characters, all varieties of people I have the opportunity of observing, of seeing, understanding. So the writer says, I am among those people who like to wander about and spend my time in taverns, coffee houses and other places of public resort. And in these places I get an opportunity to see, to observe an infinite variety of characters. which to a person of contemplative turn is a much higher entertainment than a view of all the curiosities of art or nature. So, a person like me who likes to wander about in taverns, public houses, public resort and coffee houses, there I am able to observe an infinite variety of characters, and to me, to such a person of a contemplative turn means a person who thinks deeply. The writer says, I am a person who thinks deeply. So, to a person who thinks deeply, this observing of different varieties of people is a much higher entertainment than a view of all curiosities of art or nature. Curiosities means marvels, आर्टिस्टिक मार्वल्स, नेचर के जो मार्वल्स है वो देखने से भी हायर एंटरटेनमेंट है आई गेट व्हेन आई ऑब्जर्व पीपल इन दीज डिफरेंट प्लेसेस. In one of these my late rambles means journeys. So once when I was wandering about, I accidentally fell into the company of half a dozen gentlemen. So the writer remembers once when he was on his journeys, that is once when he was wandering about, he accidentally fell into the company, means he came across half a dozen gentlemen, that is about 6 people were there, and he sat there with these 6 gentlemen who were engaged in a warm dispute about some political affair. So what were these 6 gentlemen doing? They were arguing, warm dispute. They were engaged in a warm dispute, that is a friendly argument about some political affair. They were arguing, the decision of which, as they were equally divided in their sentiments, and each one was arguing and telling their opinion, and they were equally divided in their opinions. They thought proper to refer to me. So they thought, because all of them were equally telling their own opinions, they thought they couldn't come to a decision. So they thought they will refer to me, they will consult me, they will ask me, which naturally drew me in for a share of the conversation. So the writer says he was drawn into their conversation. He also got involved in their conversation. Now what were they talking about? What political affair were they talking about? Amongst a multiplicity of other topics, we took occasion to talk of the different characters of the several nations of Europe. So they were talking about different topics, multiplicity of other topics, many other topics they were talking. Uske saath saath they started talking about the different characters of the several nations of Europe. They started talking about different characters, means people of different countries of Europe. When one of the gentlemen, cocking his hat and assuming such an air of importance, as if he had possessed all the merit of the English nation in his own person. So these were all English men, English people who were sitting together and talking about people of different nations of Europe. So one gentleman, out of the 6 gentlemen, one gentleman cocking his hat means showing confidence, and as if he was talking about something very important, as if he knew everything about people of the different nations of Europe, he started talking. What did he say? Declared Declared means he said that the Dutch were a parcel of greedy wretches. The Dutch people belong to the country of Netherlands. यूरोप का एक कंट्री है नेदरलैंड. सो द डच पीपल के बारे में, द पीपल ऑफ नेदरलैंड दे आर कॉल्ड डच पीपल. उनके बारे में यह इंग्लिश जेंटलमैन क्या बताया? दैट दे आर अ पार्सल ऑफ ग्रीडी रचेस. ग्रीडी पीपल है. रच मीन्स वेरी बैड टाइप ऑफ पीपल, वेरी ग्रीडी पीपल है डच पीपल. फिर फ्रेंच पीपल के बारे में बताया, दैट इज पीपल ऑफ फ्रांस, अनदर कंट्री ऑफ यूरोप. द फ्रेंच अ सेट ऑफ फ्लैटरिंग साइकोफैंस. फ्रेंच पीपल के बारे में क्या बताया? दैट दे आर फ्लैटरिंग साइकोफैंस. साइकोफैंस क्या है? अ फ्लैटरर, अ पर्सन हु प्रेसेस पीपल इन अथॉरिटी इन अ वे दैट इज नॉट sincere, usually in order to get some advantage from them. So a person who praises people in authority, that is अपने बॉस को प्लीज करने के लिए प्रेज करते हैं, that is called psychophancy. So such people are called psychophants. तो यह जो इंग्लिश जेंटलमैन है, he is telling कि फ्रेंच पीपल दे आर फ्लैटरर्स. वो चापलूसी करते हैं. फ्लैटरिंग का मतलब चापलूसी करना, दूसरों को फ्लैटर करना. दैट इज पीपल इन अथॉरिटी हु आर हिज बॉस, सच पीपल को फ्लैटर करना. फिर नेक्स्ट कंट्री जर्मनी, दैट द जर्मन्स वर ड्रंकन सॉट्स. नेक्स्ट द इंग्लिशमैन इज टेलिंग, गिविंग हिज ओपिनियन अबाउट पीपल ऑफ जर्मनी. They are drunken sots, that is habitual drinkers, people who get drunk always. ऐसे लोगों को बोलते हैं drunken sots. And beastly gluttons. तो ये इंग्लिशमैन बोलते हैं जर्मन पीपल कैसे है? वो हमेशा ड्रिंक करते हैं, ड्रंक रहते हैं. और ग्लटन्स, ग्लटन्स मीन्स बहुत खाने वाले हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा खाने वाले. बीस्टली ग्लटन्स, एनिमल्स की तरह बहुत खाना, ऐसे खाने वाले लोग हैं जर्मन्स. फिर नेक्स्ट स्पेन के लोगों के बारे में बोलते हैं. एंड द स्पेनियार्ड्स प्राउड, हॉटी एंड रूड टायरेंट्स. स्पेन के लोगों के बारे में, दैट इज स्पेनियार्ड्स के बारे में क्या बोलते हैं ये इंग्लिशमैन? कि वो प्राउड है, हॉटी, हॉटी मीन्स वेरी प्राउड, एंड रूड टायरेंट्स, टायरेंट्स मीन्स क्रूअल रूलर्स. तो रूड क्रूअल रूलर्स है ये स्पेन के लोग. बट दैट इन ब्रेवरी, जेनरोसिटी, मर्सी एंड इन एवरी अदर वर्च्यू द इंग्लिश एक्सेल्ड ऑल द रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. फिर अपने बारे में, अपने लोगों के बारे में, दैट इज इंग्लिश पीपल के बारे में वो क्या बोलते हैं? वो कैसे वाले लोग हैं? ब्रेव, जेनरस, मर्सीफुल. दैट इज ऑल गुड क्वालिटीज ही इज टेलिंग अबाउट इंग्लिश पीपल. एंड इन एवरी अदर वर्च्यू, वर्च्यू मीन्स गुड क्वालिटी, ऑल गुड क्वालिटीज में इंग्लिश पीपल एक्सेल्ड, दे आर द बेस्ट. That is, they are the best compared to people of the rest of the world. So you can see what was the opinion given by one of those gentlemen. What was the opinion he gave? That people of all other countries, they have very bad qualities, they are very bad people, whereas English people, they are the best in all the world. So this was the unfair or unreasonable opinion that this English gentleman is giving about people of different countries of Europe. This very learned and judicious remark was received with a general smile of approval by all the company. All the company, company refers to those half a dozen gentlemen who were sitting there. So they thought that this man, this one Englishman who gave his opinion, he had given a learned and judicious remark, very well thought remark, they thought, that he is giving. And the rest of the people, the rest of those gentlemen who were sitting there, Englishmen who were sitting there, they received it with a general smile of approval. They generally smiled and approved, said, it is right, everything that you said is right, by smiling at him. All I mean but your humble servant. The writer says, Baki sabne approve kiya, by generally smiling at him. Only the writer himself, that is Oliver Goldsmith, who was sitting there, who had been drawn into their conversation, who had become involved in their conversation. Except for the writer, Baki sabne smile karke approve kiya about what the English gentleman told. Your humble servant refers to the writer Oliver Goldsmith. Who, and what did the writer do? Who, endeavoring to keep my general gravity as well as I could. Yes, what did the writer do? He tried, endeavoring to keep, means he tried to keep my gravity, to remain serious, and reclining my head upon my arm, continued for some time in a posture of affected thoughtfulness. So what did the writer do? He sat in a posture of affected thoughtfulness. He pretended, affected means pretend. He pretended to be sitting and thinking. He did not smile at the opinion given by the English gentleman. Instead, he sat there pretending to think. As if I had been musing on something else. Musing means thinking. The writer, he continued to sit like that, pretending as if he was thinking of something else. That is why he did not agree or approve of this English gentleman's opinion, and did not seem to attend to the subject of conversation. So he did not, he pretended as if he was not involved in the conversation there. He pretended as if he was thinking about something else, hoping by these means to avoid the disagreeable necessity of explaining myself. Now the writer hasn't agreed to the Englishman's opinion, and he hoped that by pretending as if he was sitting and thinking about something else, he would not have to explain why he did not approve of the English gentleman's opinion. He thought he would not have to explain his stand, whether he agreed to the Englishman's opinion about the people of other countries of Europe, or whether he did not agree to it. But my pseudo-patriot had no mind to let me escape so easily. Pseudo-patriot means a man who pretends to be a patriot. Patriot matlab a person who loves his country. But pseudo-patriot is a person who pretends that he loves his country. My pseudo-patriot refers to the Englishman who earlier was giving his opinion about people of the different people of other countries of Europe. So he, by giving such an opinion, was pretending to be a patriot. By telling good things only about English people, he tried to show that he was a lover of England, his own country. But my pseudo-patriot had no mind to let me escape so easily. The writer did not want to give any approval. He did not want to give any opinion that he agreed to the Englishman's opinion. But then this Englishman who gave his opinion, he did not want to let the writer escape without giving his agreement. He wanted all the people sitting there to agree to what he had said. Not satisfied that his opinion should pass without contradiction, he was determined to have it approved by the vote of everyone in the company. No, the other gentleman, Englishman who sat there, did not contradict his opinions, did not say anything against his opinions. But then that was not enough for this pseudo patriot. He wanted everyone to approve, all of them to vote for him and approve his opinion. For which purpose, addressing himself to me. And for this purpose, what did this pseudo patriot do? He asked me, addressed himself to me, means he asked me with an air of inexpressible confidence. What did he ask? He asked me if I was not of the same way of thinking. The same way of thinking means whether I agreed with his opinion. I also thought in the same way as he thought. I am never forward in giving my opinion. Forward means confident. I am never forward in giving my opinion. I don't usually come forward and confidently tell my opinion to others, especially when I have reason to believe that it will not be agreeable. When I find that all the others will not agree with me, I just keep quiet usually. So when I am obliged to give it, when I have to give it, when I have to give my opinion, somebody is forcing me to give my opinion, I always hold it for a principle to speak my real sentiments. Usually I don't tell my feelings to others when I find that others won't agree with me. But then when somebody forces me to tell my opinion, tell my feelings, sentiments, then I speak my real sentiments. I tell my real feelings, real opinion. I don't tell my opinion so that I please others. I don't want to please others by telling my opinion. I therefore told him that for my own part, I should not have ventured to talk in such a peremptory strain. Peremptory means unthinking. So the writer is saying, if I were to talk about the people of other countries of Europe, I would not talk in such an unthinking strain, unthinking manner. I would not talk unless I had made the tour of Europe. First of all, I would take a tour of Europe, go to these countries, that is to France, to Netherlands, to Germany, to Spain. I would go to all these countries and examine the manners of these several nations with great care and accuracy. I would go to these countries of Europe and I would carefully examine the manners of the people of these countries with great care and accuracy. That perhaps a more impartial judge would not hesitate to affirm that, and then he says, a judge who was impartial, who was not partial, would not hesitate to affirm that the Dutch were more frugal and industrious. So, an impartial person would say that the Dutch were more frugal and industrious. Dutch means people of Netherlands. Earlier, the Englishman had told that the Dutch were a parcel of greedy wretches. But then the writer, he says that an impartial judge would say that the Dutch were more frugal and industrious. Frugal means careful with their money. That is, they wouldn't spend money, waste money. And industrious means hard-working people. Maybe they had certain vices, wrong, bad qualities, but they had these two good qualities also, virtues also. They were very careful with their money, frugal, and they were industrious, that is, they were hard-working people. फिर next, an impartial judge French people के बारे में क्या बोलते? पहले तो the Englishman French people के बारे में क्या बताया? They are a set of flattering sycophants. चापलूसी करने वाले लोग हैं. लेकिन impartial judge क्या बोलते? The French more temperate and polite. Very temperate means good tempered and polite people, well mannered people. Just like that, next he goes on to say about the Germans. Earlier, the Englishman had told about Germans that the Germans were drunken and sots and beastly gluttons. That is, they were drunk, always drinking, habitual drinkers, and beastly gluttons. Gluttons means those who eat a lot. But here, the impartial judge kya bolte about Germans? Germans were more hardy and patient of labor and fatigue. Very strong. Hardy means strong and patient of labor and fatigue. That is, they would do a lot of work and would not get fatigued. Fatigued means tired. So Germans also have these good qualities. They may be drunkards, they might be gluttons, that is those who eat a lot, but then they are hardworking, strong and hardworking people also. फिर Spaniards के बारे में impartial judge क्या बोलते हैं? And the Spaniards more sober and composed than the English. They are much more sober and composed, that is always behaving properly in a sober and composed way, that is not getting angry very fast or not getting excited easily. Whereas English people के बारे में क्या बोलते हैं या impartial judge, who though undoubtedly brave and generous, English people के बारे में and impartial judge क्या बोलते हैं? शायद वो brave and generous तो है, were at the same time rash, headstrong and impetuous. लेकिन उनको भी English people को भी certain bad qualities है, जैसे वो rash, doing things without thinking, headstrong, that is very proud, impetuous, impulsive, doing things without thinking and doing it immediately. Too apt to be elated with prosperity. थोड़ा सा success मिलते हैं, prosperity मिलते हैं तो they become very excited, elated means excited, and to despond in adversity. Adversity means when they face difficult situation, they become dejected. Despond means become dejected. So the writer actually अपना opinion ही बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन वो बोलते हैं impartial judge होते तो वो क्या बोलते impartial judge होते तो an impartial judge would say that people of other countries of Europe, they have bad qualities, but at the same time they have certain good qualities, and English people, they undoubtedly have some good qualities, but they also have certain bad qualities.